I am Doomsvince, and this is day 181 of Spawn Year.
I've feared for months now that reading this many Spawn-related comics on a daily basis, with nothing to break up the grittiness and the inconsistent characterization and plotting and the unrelenting macabre atmosphere drenched with brooding and angst, might dull my reviewing ability and make me lose all that knowledge and that smug, pretentious, scholarly attitude I developed going to university studying English, in which I'm still, assuming I'm technically still alive, paying off my student loans for. I feel like Spawn Year has left me completely blind. How could I miss something so obvious? I agonized for 3 days in my critiques over Tracy's kidnapping because of the girl in the bar our antagonist abducts in issue number 22. I was right that the girl in the closet at the end is the same girl in the bar. What I missed is that that's not Tracy, and I didn't figure it out until I got to the end of this issue and she's not the bad guy like I thought maybe she was. She looks nothing like Tracy. Tracy is, in fact, talking with Sam from behind the counter on that very page. What a completely embarrassing rookie mistake on my part. By the time I get home, I won't be fit to critique any narrative more sophisticated than Barney the Dinosaur or Care Bears. Maybe dumbing me down, diluting my brain, destroying my ability to analyze literature as Doomsvince's real objective all along. Jeez, look at that, it's working! My basic language skills are shot. I almost spelled dumb with an N. All this Spawn stuff has totally numbed my mind. At the same time, the Tracy thing still doesn't fully make sense. So she was never abducted and really didn't know anything about Sam's case or the man with the ski mask when she tears him down for not giving their relationship a chance. But then, what exactly is the stalker doing in her house sneaking up on her, the cliffhanger from a couple issues ago? It turns out he really was just playing mind games with Sam and never laid a finger on her. So was that scene just there to throw the reader off? It makes no sense that he'd be there if he wasn't planning to kidnap her or do something to her. That's certainly the most glaring loose end by the end of this mystery, but surprisingly, not only does more of this cohesively fit together than I expected it would, but McFarlane's saying more about his protagonist with this story than I thought he would be. The killer, rapist, abductor, and overall maniac in the ski mask turns out to be one of the FBI agents on the case, who got he and his partner placed there to minimize suspicion and then misplaced that suspicion onto McGuire, who was pretty obviously a frame job and who McFarlane focused far too much attention on through this, given that his innocence was clear practically from the beginning. McFarlane uses the FBI agent as a representation of the detached and isolated psychopath Sam might have become without a human element to ground him. Hunt is completely separated from reality. This FBI guy seems to have lost touch with his empathy, totally caught up in a world of crime, corruption, pain, and death, and his personal mission has become to punish innocent people who have that stability through companionship, through friends and family, and to recruit lonely public servants like Sam into his crusade. It's a story about how thankless the life of a detective can be and how contrary it is to human nature. Both Bendis and McFarlane seem to be communicating an inherent incompatibility between this sort of work and the way people want to operate and interact naturally. Sam has generally avoided getting too close to anyone for fear of the job jeopardizing the life of a lover or friend, a trope both the hero cop and the hero vigilante modes often share, or the job taking him from that person he cares about. But Sam is also naturally a loner, and even so, he needs that personal connection to remind him he's fighting for good people and not just against bad ones, and he finds that in Twitch. Twitch is naturally a family man, and he wants the fight for justice as much as he wants to be a father and husband. He chooses, finally, to take the risk and try to repair his relationship with his family at the end of this issue. As complicated and not ideal as their lives were before, Sam and Twitch finish this arc in exactly the same place they were in their first appearance in Spawn. The risks they take are necessary for their peace of mind and self-worth. It's hard to imagine, but this is how they each must be to remain as happy as two driven detectives in constant danger can be. And as I hoped, McFarlane emphasizes how important the dynamic they have together is to each of them. For all this story's faults, namely throwing Twitch under the bus at the beginning and making him petty and incompetent and ignoring a potentially fascinating turning point in his development with Bendis' choice to have him leave the Force, these are McFarlane's two best, most interesting and real characters, and he proves here that he gets who they are and creates an interesting dissection of their psyches. The conclusion of the mystery itself is underwhelming. I never know enough about Hunt, the FBI agent, to appreciate him as his own twisted character. Conceptually, he's a good foil for Sam, but he feels manufactured to be that and only that. The pacing and quality of the writing is all over the place throughout these 6 issues, but this is, without a doubt, more meaningful and deliberate than any several-issue-long Spawn arc McFarlane has written, finally focused more on people than on gimmicks. He's absolutely matured over time, and I feel like what he wanted to say with this story is actually embedded in the narrative rather than being lost somewhere in the shuffle. Apparently, McFarlane's plans to continue this book with different creators never panned out, as his letter page in the back cover announced this as his final issue. I'm looking forward to reading more of Holguin's fascinating take on Spawn, and I only hope I have the brain cells and the critical acumen to get through it. Signed, Captain Logan.